What's up, everybody? It's week 8 of the AFL, NFL, and all your favorite football action here on the AFL Radio Network. Today, we're going to go pretty quickly through some of the highlights from week 7. We're going to talk about week 8. We're going to talk about our quick six as we always do. We got Thursday Night Football coming up here quickly. We've got a wedding to freaking get to between two of the managers. Return to the King and Achilles heel. Cannot wait for that. I got a big speech coming up tomorrow evening. IRL only. So you got to be cool to see it. But I cannot be more excited both about today's episode and about the weekend. But first, let's talk last week, shall we? First and least, let's talk about my game of the week from week 7. The Commissioner, Megatron against Return of the King. Both teams entered the week at 500, desperately needing a win. Both been on a little bit of a skid. Megatron been in a couple of really close matchups, but the other guy just puts up a bucket of points against him. I think he's got the second, maybe third most points again at the league at this point. And in any case, he's got one of the biggest points for, but he's still sitting there in 7th place. I think he was in 5th or 6th last week. But this week, yet another heartbreak for the Commissioner. He takes an early lead after Sunday morning. Return of the King is in the lead by the time Sunday Night Football ends, but not by much. Not by much. This was functionally down to Chris Godwin against Derrick Henry and Marvin Harrison Jr., but it was really Derrick Henry against Chris Godwin. Baker Mayfield is firing in this game. Firing. Nothing seems to be finding Chris Godwin. Derrick Henry getting bottled up the entire game. Second half comes around, and boy, howdy, those guys do not want to tackle a 250-pound running back down there in the third or fourth quarter when they got the ball and the lead, and they folded like a bunch of fiddlesticks, and there goes D. Henry ending the day with 169 yards, a touchdown, one reception only. Derrick Henry is, I think, top 5, certainly top 10 in the league for the season. Ranked number 3 after 7 weeks. Now, Megatron has an opportunity to turn it around. 3-4, not bad. I'm 3-4, okay? And who's he got coming up on the schedule? It's me. It's me. It's me against the Commissioner in not my game of the week, but a very important game nonetheless. It can't really be a game of the week when it's two losing teams. 3-4. I'm in 8th place. I feel like I'm in 3rd place or 2nd place right now. Feels great to have this 3-game winning streak. But going against Megatron, you know, I always look forward to this game. This is always the game on my schedule that I look forward to the most. Typically, we're playing one towards the end of the year. This is about playoff position. And it feels once again this year like the winner's got a shot at the postseason and the loser is going home early. So everything is on the line for both of us this week. I see that I am the 62-point favorite. I hate seeing that. Megatron, when I was talking shit in the group thread, he's going, "Oh, everybody's blowing up against me, and you're gonna just do the same thing." Yeah, okay, fine. I am being projected an outlandish score here for somebody that lost 4 games to start the season. There's a lot being put onto Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know why there's a silent N in there, but there is. Tua Tagovailoa is being projected to revive the season of Tyreek Hill, who of course lands on the injury report right as I'm thinking of getting him back. Kenneth Walker still dealing with that same illness. Jordan Mason still dealing with that same shoulder. This is going to be a close game. I don't want to take the entire video just talking about me, though. I want to talk about all you other beautiful people out there. My actual game of the week is actually going to include the other person from last week's game of the week. It's going to be Return of the King against Cup This Chubb. Groom against Best Man. Who will win? Patrick Mahomes has been disappointing. Zay Flowers disappeared last week after getting injured early. Cooper Kupp, now there's trade rumors about him going to the Commanders. Alvin Kamara is all that is left of the Saints. And what is this injury? Yeah, I mean, this is a I'm getting beat up injury designation. I think he's going to be fine. They just had to put something because he clearly was limited, but that's a veteran maintenance day from the looks of it. I wouldn't be worried. Saquon Barkley is still the monster that he is. They are underdogs on the road against the Bengals this week. I don't think they should be. I do think the Eagles should be favored in this one, but I like Saquon in this game. Josh Jacobs coming off a monster game. Derrick Henry always having a monster game. Tank Dell coming off a dud. Curious that Cuptis Chubb still not believing in Keenan Allen, instead choosing Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara. I guess it is tough to rely on one of those other guys. Cooper Kupp, Zay Flowers. You know, I'm saying this, and then it's clearly not going to work out, but Courtland Sutton should have a huge game this week, realistically. I mean, either Courtland Sutton and or Javonte Williams is going to have a big game this week against the Carolina Panthers. I mean, if Zay Flowers ends up injured, you got to feel good about putting Courtland in there. I think. Sean Tucker. Man, that's just a weird pick. It really is. Okay. What am I talking about? That's clearly not the game of the week. We have 2 5-2 matchups here. Otto Pickens against KDs over TDs. And then Achane in the membrane against Achilles heel. Give me Achane in the membrane all day. I've been fading. I've been saying he's not number one. He's not number one. It's always somebody else. I always have an excuse to pick somebody else. Not anymore. I say as Aaron Jones starts the game off with 1.8 points. It's Achane in the membrane all day. This matchup is going to do a huge amount to decide who goes to the playoffs and what their seeding is, perhaps more importantly for both of these managers. Both of them looking like playoffs are for sure. The question is buy or no buy. The winner here is getting a bye week. And I think Achane in the membrane, after so many weeks, putting up the most points or the second most points. I think he's had the most or the second most points in 6 out of the last 7 weeks. So I'm done betting against him. Achane in the membrane is going to take this one easily. Congratulations on your wedding present, Achilles heel. In our other 5-2 and 5-2 game of the week, man, we haven't done one where the game has actually been going. I've usually been better again about getting in front of Thursday Night Football. Justin Jefferson is clearly the key to this matchup. I believe Justin Jefferson might be in. No, he was in the bet last week. We'll get to that in a bit. KD's over TDs. I keep saying that he shouldn't win. He's got too many points against. Otto Pickens, 5-2, went 3-0 in division. I just think he's going to win this one. I say this with Justin Jefferson already having points. I say this with him having the higher projection. I still feel Otto Pickens has the better roster. KD's over TD's has had the easier schedule. But the schedule means nothing in the one-on-one. I realize that. I'm salty about Chuba Hubbard. I've just been watching him on another lineup. For whatever reason, the Jordan Mason one, I like. How was I supposed to know that Christian McCaffrey wasn't going to play for this long? But with Chuba Hubbard, I knew he was going to have a chance at this backfield. I didn't see Carolina being good. But I got to say, Ben, the reason that I dropped Chuba Hubbard was because Bryce Young was back there as the quarterback. And Bryce Young is back now that Andy Dalton's got a little boo-boo on the thumb and out in that little car crash. No idea what happened in the car crash. Get well soon, Andy. But Chuba Hubbard's value, a little bit questionable, especially with Pat Surtain back in that Denver defense. George Pickens has a new life here as a high-level wide receiver 2, low-level wide receiver 1. He's got overall wide receiver 1 upside at this point with the way that Russell Wilson is targeting him with those moon balls, at least against the Jets. The thing about that Jets game that I think makes a lot of us go, wow, George Pickens is really going to have a huge second half here, is the fact he did it against Sauce Gardner, who is the one true franchise player on that Jets team. And yes, first ballot Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers is there. Sauce Gardner is the only franchise player the Jets have right now. I think we all know that. George Pickens made him look silly on Monday Night Football. So I like George Pickens. I like Bijan Robinson against Tampa Bay. These Tampa Bay games are high scoring. Travis Kelce is Travis Kelce. Brian Thomas Jr. has been one of the best rookie pickups of this entire series. Oh my goodness, Justin Jefferson getting another reception. Looks like we're going to the red zone. Drake May, another great pickup here. This one, mid-season pickup. I believe he drafted Brian Thomas Jr., but Drake May, having, as every analyst in the world has said this already, he's got one fewer touchdown than Patrick Mahomes, even though he's only played 2 games. He's got about 500 plus passing yards already. The New England passing offense and the offense in general is reborn with Drake May. You know, what do you lose by forcing him into action this early? I don't know. I think the whole Patrick Mahomes studying behind Alex Smith and other successful examples like that, like Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers himself, people that sat for a couple years, that may be a little overblown. Either you can process the game or you can't. Just ask Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. On the other side, Otto Pickens. Kyler Murray's doing what Kyler Murray does, showing off early and then constantly leaving us asking, I feel like he's capable of a little bit more. Looking at his finishes, he's got 3 finishes as a top 1 QB, right? 3 finishes inside the top 10. With Kyler Murray and the way he drafted him, and I think I said that this was, my pick of the first draft of the quarterbacks. I was clearly wrong. That was Jaden Daniels. Unfortunately, though, he's gotten injured, might miss some time. Otto Pickens and Kyler Murray, this was supposed to be the anchor of this team, and it really isn't. A.J. Brown is the anchor of this team. The Detroit Lions are the anchor of this team. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Sam Laporta. It keeps feeling like that shouldn't work, and then it works every single week. High variance, obviously, though. High variance. If any week that the Detroit Lions have a bad game, if it ever comes, you go bust. But they're blowing people out of the water. They got one of the most exciting offenses in the league. Jared Goff is damn near perfect the last 3 weeks. So, including one game where he did throw a perfect game. Although, funny enough about that game, he only threw 18 for 18. And most passing statistics require 25 or at a minimum. It's either 25 or 22. But for the purposes of like QBR records, he actually didn't qualify, which is weird. But Jared Goff, incredible game. DeAndre Hopkins, this pisses me off. Another player that was on my team, Chuba Hubbard, Jordan Mason, Bucky Irving. DeAndre Hopkins, add him to the list. Another guy that was on my roster, and then just let him go. And then he immediately gets traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. I fell for that story where they said, oh, DeAndre Hopkins is saying that he's happy where he is in Tennessee. I should have known that was bullshit. Who could be happy with Will Levis? Ray Davis and Zach Charbonnet. This is just, I'm talking benches at this point. We're getting into the weeds here, but Ray Davis and Zach Charbonnet, I like Ray Davis. I do. He helped me win a week. A good guy, Ray Davis. But Zach Charbonnet, why are you picking him up? Do you know something I don't know? How bad is this illness? Did you give him the illness? Did your dad give him the illness? Something at the flower farm up to no good? I see you over there, KDs. Give you a little update on the bet that we're doing now. The person with the lowest score has to place a bet where we all put one leg of a parlay. There's 8 of us that are currently participating. So 8 legs to the parlay in order for us to win. Last week, we got 7 legs. It was in the last video. The only one that didn't hit was Romeo Doubs' touchdown. But we'll get him this week. What's the bet? Let me see. I'll put it on screen in a second. And here is this week's bet. Starting tonight with Cooper Kupp over 6.5 receptions and Justin Jefferson over 5.5 receptions. Oh, we're already on our way there. I started out last week with Denver minus 2.5. I'm anchoring this week with Pittsburgh Steelers minus 6.5 against your New York Football Giants. I'm out of time. My picks are disgusting this week. Just check them out right here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.